Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video tonight there is lots to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United like I do on a regular basis. So just going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Jadon Sancho, also going to be giving you the latest news on Harry Kane and that. So according to the Daily Express, we have set our maximum price for the transfers of Jadon Sancho and Harry Kane, and reportedly, we're not willing to pay any more than a combined £200 million for the duo. Now, in reality, we know that Harry Kane and Jadon Sancho would cost us around £300 million. Sancho would probably cost us around £100 million, and Kane had cost us around £200 million, because don't forget, Tottenham did say, that they wanted a world record fee of £200 million for Harry Kane and that. But like I've said to you before, Jadon Sancho, is our priority target. And, we do want to sign Jadon Sancho in the summer transfer market. Now, like I've said, Dortmund have said they want at least £100 million for the player. Some reports even said, they wanted around £120 million for Jadon Sancho. Reports came out last week, like updated you, and it did say we was not willing to break our transfer record to sign Jadon Sancho. It said we was only willing to pay in the £80 million range for him. But obviously, due to this coronavirus pandemic anyway, players' values have, I think, dropped by at least 15% or something like that. But yeah, willing to pay in the £80 million range for him. Don't forget, we have been working on his contract for quite some time. We've also, been in negotiations with his agent for quite some time. And I think it did say at one point we was willing to pay Jadon Sancho around £200,000 a week. Don't forget, if Jadon Sancho is sold in the summer transfer market, then Manchester City will benefit from it, because I do believe Manchester City do get around 15% of the I think they get around 15% of the transfer fee, don't they, or something like that, due to the couple of clauses. So this is what it had basically said. But obviously, reports have been saying anyway, we have to sell around 4 or 5 players to fund the moves for the likes of Jadon Sancho and Jack Grealish. Because Jack Grealish is also one of our priority targets as well. But like I said, Jadon Sancho did say, didn't he, if he is to leave Borussia Dortmund, his preference would be a move to Manchester United. And I've already outlined the reasons, why it would be beneficial for us to recommend him in, because he has got a really, really good friendship with Marcus Rashford. Obviously, Rashford did reveal earlier on in the season, that he does want Jadon Sancho at Manchester United. And also, too, he is well proven in the Premier League, because don't forget, Sancho is a former Manchester City player. He did enjoy quite a few years at Manchester City, but, he never got any first-team opportunities. And this is why Sancho left Manchester City to join Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, before he was at Manchester City, he was at Watford, and he was at Watford for several years. So Borussia Dortmund is the third club in his playing career, and this is now his third season with Borussia Dortmund. But I've got to say, Sancho has been a revelation since his arrival in Germany. Borussia Dortmund only paid around £7 million for him. I was at £8 million for him from Manchester City. So if Dortmund even get £80 million for him this summer, they will still make a huge profit on the player. Sancho has got a contract with Dortmund until 2022, so he has still got a couple of years remaining on his contract. But the reports that were coming out last week, actually contrast to the ones that were coming out a couple of weeks ago, because they said, Borussia Dortmund believe that they can convince Jadon Sancho to stay and sign a 1-year contract worth around £9 million a year, which would actually, make him the second highest paid player at Borussia Dortmund, behind Marco Reus and that. But yeah, we've been in for Jadon Sancho for quite some time. Don't forget, we was relentlessly linked to him last year, but the main explanation why we didn't get him last year is because we had no Champions League football to offer, and he is only the age of 20, is Jadon Sancho, still very, very young, and I think he'd go well alongside the likes of Greenwood, Rashford and Anthony Martial in our attacking line. But if we do sign Sancho in the summer, then I think it probably, will be the only signing, that Manchester United do make. Borussia Dortmund have come to accept the fact that Sancho wants to leave. So obviously, they've got a few players on their agenda who could replace him. But it actually, did say that Borussia Dortmund have made an admission and did say, they will let Jadon Sancho go, providing that their asking price is met for the player. Now, Borussia Dortmund have let quite a few of their players go to the Premier League in recent years. Don't forget they let Aubameyang join Arsenal, Mkhitaryan left them, Christian Pulisic joined Chelsea, don't forget. There's actually, they've let quite a few of their players go. Borussia Dortmund, Pulisic, Mkhitaryan, Aubameyang, Shinji Kagawa as well, he's another one. So there you go. But I'm not going to fully assure that we are going to sign Jadon Sancho in the summer transfer market. But my club, Man United, have not only been in for him, don't forget Chelsea have been in for him. He did reveal that he is a lifelong Chelsea fan. Real Madrid were in for him, Liverpool have been in for him. Don't forget Trent Alexander-Arnold actually, urged him to join Liverpool. So there you go. But there's much, much more chance of us signing Jadon Sancho than there is of Harry Kane, because I'm very, very sceptical that Manchester United will sign Harry Kane, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, so that's the latest news on Jadon Sancho. That is the latest news on him, but I do expect him to leave Borussia Dortmund, even if he doesn't come to Manchester United. So, let's speak with you about Harry Kane now. I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Harry Kane on a regular basis. Now, I'm very, very sceptical, that Manchester United will sign him in the summer transfer market. So, I'm reiterating, what I've said, a couple of weeks ago. We will not sign Harry Kane. Maybe in the foreseeable future we could sign Harry Kane. We'll probably wait till his valuation goes down. Now, obviously, back in March, Harry Kane had made an admission, saying that he could decide to leave Tottenham if he feels as though the team are not progressing. And he did say he will not stay at Tottenham for the sake of it. So, reflecting on some of the stuff he mentioned then back in March, it did fuel a hell of a lot of speculation up. Now, Real Madrid were in for him, but it did confirm that they dropped their interest. Man City have been in for him, and I think also Juventus have been in for him. But if Kane does leave Tottenham in the summer, I don't think he'll continue plying his trade in the Premier League. I think he will go abroad, if I am going to be quite honest with you. Now, Tottenham did say, they want £200 million for Harry Kane, because I think, Tottenham are still paying their stadium loan. The last time I read up about that, Tottenham owed around 630 odd million on the stadium loan, around 80 odd million on transfer fees. But there you go. But possibly, Harry Kane could, remain at Tottenham for next season. But Harry Kane has revealed his ambition, and his ambition is to win silverware, and he hasn't experienced any of this, so far during his Tottenham career, and he has been at Tottenham for several years. He's been in their senior squad since 2011, and like I said, Kane has got 181 goals in all competitions for Tottenham, so he's like their third highest, I think he's their third highest goal scorer in their history is Harry Kane. Like I said, he's also sustained quite a few injuries as a Tottenham player. I think he has actually been out of a hamstring injury since New Year's Day as Harry Kane. Don't forget, back in the summer of 2018, which was 2 years ago now, Kane signed a 6-year contract with Tottenham worth around £200 million a week. I think it's £200,000 a week, sorry, not 200 million, £200,000 a week. And he has got a contract with Tottenham until 2024. So he has still got like 4 years remaining on his contract now. So there's a lot of uncertainty over Harry Kane's future, but he is very, very infuriated. Don't forget, he also had quite a few loan spells, with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich, and Leicester did the player. But definitely, Harry Kane is Tottenham's best player. Like I said to you before, in regards to Daniel Levy, very, very hard negotiator, but, very, very good businessman. I'm not sure if Ed Woodward's had any negotiations with Daniel Levy. I'm not too sure about that. But, we have done business with Tottenham in the past. Don't forget we got Dimitar Berbatov off them, and so too Michael Carrick. Dimitar Berbatov, has given his verdict on, the speculation regarding Kane, and he thinks that, Kane is considering leaving Tottenham to, come and join Manchester United, and Berbatov believes that Harry Kane, should join Manchester United. I'd take Harry Kane at the football club, but I just think £200 million is far too much money. Is there a possibility chance, we could get Kane for 100 million? If Tottenham were to slash their asking price to 100 million pounds, then maybe, we would consider signing Harry Kane. But yeah, he's a prolific goal scorer, and I think, it would be a good adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku, because, we're looking for an adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku, because we did allow Lukaku to leave the football club last summer. He joined Inter Milan for around £72 million, and he's done very, very well at Inter Milan. And Lukaku did enjoy 2 years at Manchester United, but it's a shame that we didn't get that replacement for Lukaku last summer. We also didn't get that replacement for Ander Herrera last summer in that midfield. Herrera enjoyed 5 years at the football club, and we did let him go on a free transfer to PSG. Don't forget. So that is the news on Sancho and Harry Kane. So we're only willing to pay £200 million for both players. But I'm very, very sceptical, that we will get Harry Kane and that. I think the mistake Tottenham did make anyway, was getting rid of, Mauricio Pochettino. Obviously, Mauricio Pochettino endured 5.5 years with Tottenham, and they made the wrong decision by recommending Jose Mourinho in. Jose Mourinho endured 2.5 years with us, and wasn't good, and now he's doing really, really bad at Tottenham. And I think Tottenham are very, very critical of Jose Mourinho. And don't forget, Tottenham lost Eriksen back in January after he endured 7 years with Tottenham, so was a long-serving player. They also lost Danny Rose out on loan to Newcastle. They lost Bale and Modric to Real Madrid, quite a few years ago now, that anyway. So there you go. By the way, I want to give you some news now on Odin Igalo. Reportedly, us signing Odin Igalo permanently hinges on our pursuit of Sancho and Harry Kane. So if Kane was to stay at Tottenham and Sancho was to remain loyal to Borussia Dortmund as well, then I think, we will be getting Odin Igalo on a permanent transfer. Don't forget, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did make the admission quite a few weeks ago now, saying, it's likely that we'll get Igalo on a permanent transfer because Igalo has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Igalo, has got, 4 goals in 3 starts for the football club. And I think he has been a very, very good cover-up to Marcus Rashford. We have got Odin Igalo on loan at the moment. Didn't we pay around 3 or 4 million to get him on loan? We are paying like a third of his wages, because I think his wages at Shanghai Shenhua are like £300,000 a week. And his current loan spell at the football club does end on the 31st of May. There was reports coming out saying, we could extend Odin Igalo's loan until the 30th of June due to the coronavirus pandemic. But and Odin Igalo, I would get him on a permanent transfer. It'd only cost us like £15 million to get him on a permanent transfer. Yeah, and he's a much cheaper solution than Harry Kane and Jadon Sancho and that. But, Odin Igalo, anyway, is a lifelong Manchester United fan. So if we don't sign Sancho and Kane, then, we probably will get Igalo on a permanent transfer. Don't forget, Shanghai Shenhua, his parenting club, they came out, was it a month ago, and reportedly offered him a 2-year contract worth around £400,000 a week to convince him to turn down a permanent move to Manchester United. But definitely, we do need a centre-forward in the summer transfer market. Like I said, Tino, there's been other strikers on our agenda as well. I give you the news, didn't I, on Moussa Dembele recently from Lyon, because there has reports been emerging out saying that Moussa Dembele would find it hard to reject a move to Old Trafford in the summer. Also, too, Chelsea have been in for Moussa Dembele. Allegedly, back in January, Chelsea had agreed personal terms with the player. And I like Moussa Dembele a lot. I think he's been a revelation in France for Lyon. I think this is now his second season with Lyon, is Moussa Dembele's. I think he's got a contract with them until 2023, and I think he's only the age of 23. The players are still very, very young. I think Lyon did pay around £20 million in from Celtic back in the summer of 2018. He enjoyed quite a few good years with Celtic. And another beneficial thing about us recommending Moussa Dembele is that he's played in the Premier League before, because don't forget he began his senior career with Fulham, did the player. So we are in for Moussa Dembele. I think he's got 42 goals in 88 games for Lyon. He got 51 goals in 94 appearances for Celtic. So probably, would take Moussa Dembele at Manchester United. Don't forget, Erling Haaland, he's been another striker on our agenda. It was a shame that we didn't get Erling Haaland back in the January transfer window, because I think, it would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing with Erling Haaland. Obviously, no Timo Werner's still on our agenda, but I'm very, very sceptical that we'll get Werner because I think, Liverpool are the favourites to sign him. He's already confirmed that he wants to make a move to Liverpool as Werner. Liverpool, I think, have been in advanced talks with Werner over the transfer to Anfield. Again, though, is a cheap solution because Werner's got a £52 million release clause in his contract with RB Leipzig. But, the likes of Werner, Haaland, Moussa Dembele would be much cheaper solutions than Harry Kane, to be quite honest. So I think Dembele would probably cost us in the 60-odd or 70-odd million pound range. But, we have got a lot of good attacking players, like I've said to you before. We've got Rashford. He was one of our best players earlier on in the season, was Marcus Rashford. Of course, before he sustained this back injury, Marcus Rashford has been out with this back injury since January. So the last game he played for us was our 1-0 win against Wolves in the FA Cup third round replay, was it? But Solskjaer made the wrong decision by playing Rashford in that game. Rashford up until this point has spent the entirety of his career with Manchester United. He's been a United player since the age of 7 and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. But since then, he has become an integral part of our team. But when the football season does eventually resume, I think, Rashford will be back because he has been stepping up his fitness regime. Rashford is only the age of 22, but he's sustained a few injuries during his Man United career. I think also too Anthony Martial is a very, very good attacking player for us, and I've got to credit Solskjaer for putting Martial in that number 9 role because I think Martial has looked very, very effective in that central position this season. Martial does actually predominantly play out wide because in his 4 previous seasons prior to this one, he's been playing out on that left-hand side as Anthony Martial and used to fulfill the number 11, did Anthony Martial. But Martial, of course, is now into his 5th season. Is into his 5th season at the football club. And I've got to say, before the football season got suspended, he was in a really, really good vein of form. I think Martial's got 16 or 17 goals in I think it's in all competitions this season, but I think one of the best seasons Anthony Martial endured was his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. We paid around £36 million for Martial, potentially rising up to 57 or is it 58 million based on goals and achievements and that. So yeah, very, very good attacking player for us. There's been reports saying, if we were to get Sancho in, then maybe, Martial could be sold because Martial will find game time very, very difficult. I don't think we'll sell Martial this summer. Maybe he could go next year. Maybe he could go in the next couple of years or something like that. So yeah. Daniel James, he's also a very, very good attacking player for us. He'd be good as a backup, if we were to get Sancho in. Daniel James has done really, really well for Man United. And we only paid £15 million for him from Swansea, last summer. I think with add-ons included, it risen up to 17 or £18 million, But yeah, very, very good. And Daniel James is definitely the foreseeable future for Man United. Can play on the left, can play on the right. But, you tend to see the best of Daniel James on that left-hand side and that. But yeah, obviously we've got number 7 vacant at the moment. But I did a video yesterday, didn't I? Going through with you, who do you think should be Man United's next number 7? If we sign Sancho, then I think, he will be our next number 7 because we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. But there again, our recent number 7s have been inconsistent. Sanchez was inconsistent. Memphis Depay was inconsistent, when we got him under Louis van Gaal era. So there you go and that. So there you go. So yeah, there's a lot of players, on Manchester United's agenda. And, Solskjaer, he's looking to make around 4 signings in the summer transfer market because he believes he believes we need around 4 signings to become title contenders next season. Believes we need around 4 signings and stuff. But I'm very, very sceptical that we are going to make 4 signings. Don't forget Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young British talents to Manchester United like he did do last summer. And he's already identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. He wants to recommend a centre forward in. He wants to recommend a right winger in. And he also wants to recommend a midfielder in that. So there's still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. But I think Solskjaer will definitely be here next season. I think we are determined to give him at least a couple of more transfer windows because he's endured 3 transfer windows so far at the football club and spent around £220 million. Last summer brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. That cost us around £150 million for them 3 players. And obviously, in January, he brought Bruno Fernandes and Odin Ighalo in. course, we paid 65 million for Bruno Fernandes with add-ons included, so he is on that list as one of our most expensive signings. And of course, we brought Odin Ighalo in on loan, so we spent around 69 million in the January transfer window because, like I said, we got Odin Ighalo in on loan. Solskjaer has been at the football club now for around 16 months, so he has been here over a year. And like I've said to you, I have taken positives from his tenure so far. Like I said, his approach to the big games have been very, very good because we've registered like 17 points against the big six sides this season. We are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. Best vein of form since Solskjaer was the interim manager. I think he's also promoted the youth very, very well, because the young players have been given their opportunities this season, which is very, very good. And Mason Greenwood's also been a very good attacking player for us this season. Forgot to mention that actually earlier on in the video. So, these positives to take from his tenure so far. And he's also got rid of a lot of the deadwood, since he got recommended into Manchester United. A total of 9 players have left Manchester United, since he got recommended in. Obviously, we've got rid of some players on permanent transfers. We've let some players, go out on loan. And he's looking to get rid of more deadwood in the summer. We are planning to get rid of around 5 or 6 players in the summer transfer market. And we're hoping, to generate to generate over £100 million, for the 5 or 6 players, that we do get rid of in the summer. Obviously, I think we're definitely not going to get rid of Phil Jones. He's enjoyed 9 years at Man United now, been here since the Ferguson era. Phil Jones can't even get into the team now anyway, so, we're definitely going to get rid of him. We can get around 10 to 12 million pounds for Phil Jones in the summer. I think we'll get rid of Lingard, we'll get rid of Andrews Pereira because they're also 2 liabilities. I think we'll get rid of Smalling on a permanent transfer. We'll get rid of Rojo on a permanent transfer because obviously Smalling's out on a 1-year loan with Roma at the moment. I gave you the news on Smalling, didn't I, recently? And Smalling did enjoy 9 years at Man United again. He was another long-serving player. Paulo Fonseca, the Roma manager, insists that he don't want to return to Man United anyway. He was talking about how amazing Chris Smalling has been for Roma. And Roma, I think do want to get Chris Smalling on a permanent transfer. But he won't be coming back to Manchester United. I think we've said if we get rid of him permanently, we want in the £20 odd million range for him. But there again, Arsenal and Tottenham have been in for Chris Smalling. So, yeah. Rojo, I think he's actually recently brought the lockdown rules as Marcus Rojo. I think he did say quite a few weeks ago he wants his loan extended with Estudiantes. Again, Rojo won't be coming back to Manchester United. Diego Dalot, there's also a possibility chance, that he could be also leaving the football club as well. Diego Dalot is a backup to Anwan Bissaka, because Anwan Bissaka is our first choice right back and that. We did recommend Diego Dalot in his final, in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window at the football club. We paid £19 million for him from Porto in the summer of 2018. So he's been here now 18 months, I think, something like that as Diego Dalot. I think he's only made one start this season, but he's had a few injuries, hasn't he, as Diego Dalot? So there you go. Sanchez, I give you the news on him this morning. I really, really hope we can get rid of Alexis Sanchez on a permanent transfer or minimum loan him back out. I don't think we can get rid of him on a permanent transfer, reflecting on his substantial wages, because his wages at Man United, Sanchez's are 400 grand a week, rising up to 500 grand a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses and that. And Sanchez is on loan at Inter Milan at the moment, but despite the fact that he's on loan at Inter Milan, we are still paying the vast majority of his wages. Now, reports have been stemming out from Sky Sports, which is a reliable source, and they've actually, said that, Roma are interested in taking Sanchez out on loan next season. This is, of course, when his loan spell ends with Inter Milan, because Inter Milan are not going to get him on a permanent transfer. But if he goes to Roma, he will remain in Italy, and he will be reuniting with Chris Smalling and that. But Roma won't get him on a permanent transfer anyway. Universidad de Chile, Sanchez has said regarding them that he wants to, join them. So he wants to make a return back to Chile, and he wants to finish his career in Chile, does Alexis Sanchez. And also to the Universidad the Chile president has also confirmed that Sanchez wants to finish his career there. And Sanchez is now in his early 30s, but Sanchez endured a difficult 18 months at Manchester United. Also, has endured a very, very difficult time at Inter Milan, but he's also had a few injuries as Sanchez. He had a lot of injuries, to be fair, as Alexis Sanchez, but I don't want him back at Manchester United, so there you go. So we are going to get rid of players, like I said. But like I said, Ed Woodward, he's determined to back Solskjaer, like he said on numerous occasions this season. And he's also, assured that his job's safe, even though we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season ever. He will definitely be here next season. The football season, I think, will resume and we can get some silverware on the board, because we can win the Europa League. We're into the last eight. We are into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. We can also win that. So we need to get some silverware on the board under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But I'm still very, very sceptical that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the foreseeable future for Manchester United and that. Obviously, I give you the news on my recent video, the second one I did today. That's still uploading, by the way. As it's been confirmed, Ed Woodward is no longer interested in recommending a director of footballing at Manchester United. Even though, we was in search for a director of football, I think for the last 2 years, we was in search for a director of football because Ed Woodward, of course, was keen on recommending a director of footballing, to oversee the club's transfer strategy. And, there was quite a few names, linked with the director's role. There was talks of Ralph Ragnick coming in. There was talks of Rio Ferdinand, Patrice Evra, Paul Mitchell. But I did say at the time, was in search for one. If we are to get one in, we need someone who knows the traditions of the club, someone who's obviously got that experience. Edwin van der Sar's obviously got that experience because he's a CEO at Ajax, but we're no longer now in for a director of football because the main explanation is because Ed Woodward, says that, so Ed Woodward said that Solskjaer, reflecting on his impact, this is why, he doesn't want to get a director of footballing at Manchester United. But Ed Woodward, of course, has been at the football club since 2012. So I think this is now his 8th season at Manchester United. Like I said, the Glazers, they've been here since 2005 and they've taken over £1 billion out of the football club. The Glazers since, they came in as well. We've been very, very critical of Ed Woodward. Also had a lot of doubts about the club's ownership. So there you go. But yeah, give Solskjaer more time at Manchester United because take into account, he's inheriting, the players that other managers have brought in. And because, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. We've sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, we sacked David Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho and that. And in the last 6 or 7 years, we have been playing catch-up, we've had different managers with different philosophies. We've spent close to the £1 billion range on bringing players in. And like I've said before, we have recruited over 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era. And that, like I said, Moyes brought Fellaini and Mata in. Fellaini's no longer now here, though. Van Gaal brought Schneiderlin, Depay, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Rojo, Darmian, Marshall and Shaw to the football club and Falcao. Also got rid of a lot of the players that we had under the Ferguson era, did Louis van Gaal. Louis van Gaal enjoyed 2 years at Man United, did win the FA Cup with us. And like I said, Mourinho recommended 11 players into the football club and he enjoyed 2.5 years at Manchester United, did Mourinho. And, I've already gone through with you, the players that, Jose Mourinho brought in and that. So, yeah. We haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. We haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers and that. But we've only won 3 trophies in the last 6 or 7 years, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal, like I've just mentioned, and the Europa League and the League Cup under the Jose Mourinho era. Like I said, we haven't dominated football since the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, Ferguson enjoyed, 26, 27 years at Man United. Had 20-odd years of success at the football club. But there again, didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United when we recommended him in from Aberdeen and that. So just shows you, doesn't it? It does take some managers' time to settle in and that. Obviously, before we had Ferguson, I think, was it Ron Atkinson we had? He wasn't so good. The last time we was relegated was back in 1974, which is... which is like 45, 46 years ago now. The last time we were relegated, I think we was relegated under Franco Farrell, if I'm right. He was obviously, a very, very poor manager as well. Don't forget, at one point, we did have him at Busby. So there you go. But we need to stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because, like I said, he was a great player for the football club for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. He's inexperienced as a manager, don't get me wrong. Man United is the third club he's managing in his managerial career. Solskjaer, before he was with us, he was at Mould. Enjoyed a good couple of years with Mould. He wouldn't... was it there a couple of years? Well, he was at Mould. I know he was there. He also played for Mould in his playing career, but he did win a couple of Norwegian titles at Mould. Before he was at Mould, he was at Cardiff, and his actual record at Cardiff was also disastrous. He only enjoyed a short tenure with Cardiff. I think he only managed around, was it 29 games for Cardiff or something like that? But he got sacked from Cardiff because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated, did Solskjaer and that. But like I said, he deserves more time. He's got 2 years remaining on his contract at the football club and that. And like I said, the Premier League are working on a 7-week festival if the season does resume. So want to complete it within a 7-week period, the season. Reportedly, the season has to resume by the 19th of June in order to complete. And if it doesn't resume by the 19th of June, then reportedly the season will be cancelled, basically, if it doesn't resume by the 19th of June. UEFA have come out and said European leagues must be completed by August the 2nd. This is what it has basically said, but there's 92 games remaining in all competitions. There's 92 games remaining in that. There's been rumours saying FA Cup and League Cup games could be scrapped to increase fixtures and stuff like that. There was also talk saying that if the season, doesn't resume, there could be like 23 teams in the league next season and, up to 4 teams relegated and stuff. There's been talks as well of, teams playing at like 10 neutral stadiums. Some clubs have said relegation should be scrapped if that is the case and stuff like that. Obviously, we know Liga 1's being cancelled. The Eredivisie is being cancelled. I think Bundesliga as well is going to start next week. So there you go. So you know what's going on with that. I think the Premier League are set to have another meeting to establish plans for the remainder of the season and that. But, the Premier League's been suspended, since, the 13th of March. It's been suspended now for a good 6 or 7 weeks. So, yeah. So, anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.